everyone. So I'm going to start off by saying I don't like live videos. I'm going out of my comfort zone by doing this. I don't like watching myself on the screen. But I know that that is a big part of sharing stuff with you guys, so I'm willing to do it for you. So I know I've left some sneak peek pictures of our history curriculum. We're going to start this fall, I guess. We usually start in August for our new school year. So here it is. We are going to be using America's Story 2. The first one goes over like the American Revolution, which is what we've been studying this year. So I wanted to dig into the second one, which does like all of the 1800s. So it does the Civil War through the Industrial Revolution. So I'm really excited about using it. I've had a lot of trouble finding history curriculum that I like. This past year, we actually did not follow a curriculum. I just used Who Was Books and What Was Books, which I want to do a whole video just on that because we had a lot of fun doing it. So I totally skipped doing a curriculum this past year just because I could not find something that I liked. So this America's Story is by Masterbooks. It is a Charlotte Mason inspired curriculum. It is a Christian curriculum. So let's dig into it. So the first thing I like about it is not textbooky. So the author, Angela Odell, it seems like she's just talking to you, which I really, really love. So it goes through, there is a student book. So that's this one. So this is where all of the actual like lessons and reading and everything is in the student book. And then there's a teacher guide, which it basically is more like your workbook. I would call it more that than a teacher guide. So it has workbook type pages and all of the work that your child would be doing is going to be in the teacher guide. So the first thing that I like, one more thing too, it does have a suggested schedule, because I know a lot of my friends are very worried about scheduling and they don't know, how many days, how do you know if you don't follow a box curriculum, how many days you need to do this, or how many, what do you have to do to make sure you get it through the school year, which I'll do a whole other video about that one day too, because I do like more of a relaxed schedule than following what a book schedule says to do. So in this one, we probably will not follow the schedule either. But it does have, you can see, it does have a schedule, a suggested schedule for you. So it is meant to be a 5-day-a-week curriculum. We honestly will probably do most of it in 1 or 2 days. Just because that's the way I like to do both history and science, is we usually pick 1 day a week and we will just work for about an hour or so on history, which I think this one we may have to split into 2 days. Just depending on the subject and how much I'm wanting them to do. And I'll explain what all they have to do in here. So the first thing is that it has real pictures. This is really cool. So here's an example for you guys of a lot of the real pictures they have on here. So there's Annie Oakley, there's a Sioux, I think it's the Sioux chief, Sitting Bull, and it has Buffalo Bill's Wild West show and stuff like that. So that has real pictures, which my boys really, really love. Should I get all that in there for you? So that's something I think is really cool, is that it's not just sketches of stuff, it's real pictures. So it just makes history come alive a little bit more. And we do a lot of field trip type stuff. We visit a lot of national parks and whatnot. And so they see these pictures at the sites that we go visit. So it just, it helps them link with all of that as well. So they really liked having the live pictures. There's also maps on every chapter, which I also like. So this is actually, I kind of picked a boring map, I apologize. But so this one just shows all the different time zones, but every chapter has a different map. Sometimes, let me find a better example for you guys. Sometimes the maps even highlight several things. Like this map here has, because this is a chapter about Helen Keller, and where different places that she traveled. So it has different stuff split up and explains, where she went and why. And sometimes it even zooms in on certain cities or certain states, depending on the topic. So we like maps. I realized this past year we haven't done a ton of geography type stuff. And so I was like, oh no, we need to find a geography curriculum. But this really puts the lessons into it. So this is cattle drive trails. That's so cool. So I'm going to look through that. So it shows the different cattle drive trails. And so it just makes it just a lot more real, I think, for the kids to see it and help them learn geography that way, and as opposed to just going, okay, what are your states and capitals, which, you know, I want my kids to learn that as well. But this makes it more real because it's the stuff that people actually did in these places. So something else that it also has is cultural connections, sorry about that, in every chapter. So at the end of every chapter, it will show, so this is Times Square at New Year's, so it has Times Square in, what year was that? I thought it said the year on it. Anyway, I can't find the year on it. But it has Times Square back in, who knows, 18 something. And then it has Times Square now at New Year's, so it just makes it to like, this place still exists. It's really here. So I like that it has the cultural connections in every chapter as well. So sometimes it's people, sometimes it's places. There's a thing about like the telephone, so it's showing the telephone, something about research and how like they used to have encyclopedias and now we have the internet and stuff like that. So it just really makes it to where there's the cultural connections for the kids to link both things. So each chapter is about 4 pages. And by 4 pages, I mean like this is 2 pages. There's still lots of pictures on it. And then every chapter after the 2 pages has 2 pages of maps. So again, like the 2 pages of map stuff. And then 1 page of the cultural connections. And then it also has like narration breaks. So like after the first 2 pages, it says narration break, stop reading and discuss what you read, which I like that as well to help break it up, which I know a lot of times we do that naturally anyways, but I kind of like that she kind of tells us, okay, before moving on to this next piece, let's talk about it and make sure that you're getting it. So I really like that. So the teacher guide, like I said, it's more of a workbook. So the way that it works is, let me find the beginning of one here. So it has some question and answers for you first. So it gives about usually 2 questions and answers and try to encourage the child to answer and give a quick recap. It also gives you some materials you needed. So like this one just says that you need the student pages, a pencil eraser, color pencils, globe or atlas, and either encyclopedia or internet. So usually it's not that many things. I did notice a few more project-y things, but a lot of it is just in the book that you need, which I kind of like because I'm kind of lazy when it comes to this stuff. We do a lot of hands-on projects, but usually it's for like science or we'll incorporate it with our language and stuff like that. So it kind of helps me in my laziness that it's all kind of right here for me. So it has the question and answers, about 2 question and answers for every chapter. It has written narration for older students. So this is designed, by the way, for 3rd through 6th grade. I am going to be using it for my 1st and 5th graders next year. So I feel like you definitely can kind of go before the 3rd grade. I wouldn't recommend if you only have a 1st grader to buy this for them. But if you're wanting to incorporate it with older students, it's definitely easy to use it for 1st grade as well. Again, he'll sit there. I might find a free coloring sheet online for my 1st grader to color while he's listening to me read. That really helps him while I'm reading. And then, so there's written narration for older students. So obviously we'll not have my 1st grader doing that, but I probably will have my 5th grader do that. It has sketching in every chapter, which both of my kids think is fabulous. So just very simple stuff. So this one is talking about Transcontinental Railroad. And it's talking about stagecoach with Mark Twain, and to use this image as an example to sketch your own stagecoach. So it just gives you a little picture of it and then to sketch your own. A lot of them have pictures of people and places and just different things like this. There was one about, I believe, like a light bulb or something like that, and to have the kids sketch all of these different things. Maybe it was the telephone, or I can't remember now. I was looking through it a few minutes ago. So just some really cool little sketches. My children love to draw, so they're super excited about this. So the next thing after that, they usually have some type of either small writing assignments or this one has a word search, and they also have these things called word collectors. So to find this chapter's special word and to name 3 other words that you learned from this chapter. So I thought that was a really neat way of finding vocabulary. And because a lot of times when we're talking about history, they are going to bring stuff up that our kids are going to have no idea what it means. So since this one has a word search, my son would love that. Some of them do just have maybe like 3 or 4 small writing prompts. I probably will not have him do that. Just because it does have other writing in here. I'll probably just have him answer the questions if I feel like they're relevant questions that he should be answering, and just orally tell me the answers. There's also map adventures for every chapter as well. So they will have some type of look at the map in the student book, and then in the teacher book you can either write in answers, or sometimes they'll have you even sketch the map or copy it. Different things with maps. And then each of them also have a timeline. So it'll have a place for you to write about what happened for the timeline. That's here. So they're gonna have a writing place. Again, 5th grader will probably do this. 1st grader, probably not. I probably won't have him do this for every single chapter, only on ones that he would be more interested in. But this really brings up some good like language art stuff. And some good writing practice, because it's write a letter to the newspaper explaining the truth about outlaws like Jesse James. He would really get into that. So I think he'd really actually want to do writing assignments like this, because he's very big into just kind of fun, imaginative writing. So that kind of opens it up for that. And then there's also the timelines like this for every chapter. Sorry, that way. Where you can cut and paste pictures in here as well. They do explain that these don't necessarily all go in order, so you may have to wait until a later chapter to fill in some of these pictures, and it'll say to go back to it. But there is a timeline. I like timelines. It helps me make sense of when stuff happened in history, so I'm hoping that helps my kids with that. I haven't found a good timeline curriculum for them. I kind of would find stuff with timelines and be like, oh, great. But I wouldn't like something else about the curriculum, so I wouldn't get it. So I feel like this is the first curriculum that has literally everything that I want. I've had a really hard time finding something that looks like everything about it I'm excited about. So I asked my kids what they were most excited about too, and they said the sketching. So I'm really excited for them to do the sketching, especially since a lot of the map pages and whatnot have extra sketching. So it kind of is the best of, oh, and there's also copy work. That one chapter I was looking at didn't have it. But there is copy work, and it's not just boring copy work. It's like cool quotes or part of the Constitution or whatever. So I really like that there was quotes from Abraham Lincoln that they're using for copy work. So it's not just like wasted time copy work. Like they're learning really cool quotes that, you know, that is important for them to learn. So I really appreciate that. So Angela Odell, thank you for making an awesome curriculum. I'm super excited about it. Let me just look at my notes to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I don't think so. So I am going to link this. I have an affiliate link. I'm going to put it in the comments so you can find it on there on Amazon. And I'm also going to be putting the links in my Instagram bio, and also I'm going to make a whole blog post about this as well and put the video in there and links and everything too. And look also this week on my website, www.thisbitoflife.com. Look for a free printable I'm going to be putting up later this week too. And obviously, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the comments and I will try to answer it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.